like I'd like to be like an active family. You know?
So when you mention hiking and playing with your kids active, is it, when you mention these things, are these like dreams that you have of doing, or is it maybe a memory of what you used to be like?
It's a beautiful question, y'all.
It's really strong.
It's definitely a dream that I have.
So let's fast forward a little bit. I want to kind of hear your opinion. How would life be different besides the hiking and playing with your kids? I want you to kind of take me there for a minute. Kind of take yourself there.
Yeah.
Because and the reason I ask this question, Sean, is not, I do ask provoking questions for a reason, is because I want you to understand that what we're trying to do here is change your lifestyle and give you a better quality of life. And so these questions sometimes are helping me to identify some things that I can help you with, and more so you can actually get this done and really believe in it, because I do. So what are some of the things that you feel like would be different in your life, even at work, having confidence, anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, I'd definitely be a lot more confident. You know, guys, that part right there was really important. You know, when he led all that up, that whole entire like prelude to everything he was about to say, not only it gave me permission to, or gave him permission to like ask it, but you know, it made me like, it really made me understand like why he was asking it. But no, that was perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
You know what? You know, and again, I was just here last Thursday for the first time.
Yeah.
But you can tell too how you went out of, you know, you gave us the 1 through 4. Right, you remember that. So you kind of touched on one, you went into the ranking, and then you kind of opened up to where it kind of played into question two. Where, why don't you let me know how you feel your life would be different? So you know how we talked about the order somebody mentioned last Thursday? Do we have to put it in this order?
No, I see what you're saying. I can go open-ended questions to summary to reflective listening. I can web and flow as I please. Notice that when he actually asked, when he said he's highly motivated, that gave me the perfect opportunity to go into the 8, because his mind is on that motivation. And so I'm going to actually ask that question. So the FA is extremely important, guys, to get this information, because it is leading you into diving into other questions. And so as we continue to go, he's telling me things about how his life was to be different. And after that, when I have enough information, I've got 7, 8, 10 X factors. When we used to fish for 1, do you realize that I've gained, in less than 5 minutes, I've gotten 10 X factors, powerful ones, where the old way was just like, we got to figure, you got a wedding coming up? Oh, that's my X factor. These are way more powerful. So that will lead me into, okay, so I understand you correctly.
No, let's continue. I want us to get through the whole thing real quick, and then I want to dive in and break it down. So let's hear the whole thing, because this is some great momentum right here.
So if I understand you correctly, this is important to you because you want to be more active, specifically with your children.
Yes.
And take me through that for a minute.
You know, I mean, I'm always on the computer, they're always on their iPads, and you know, you know, like kind of like we were saying, you know, I want to be more active. You know, I want us to do things like as a family.
How old are your kids?
2 years old and 5 years.
Okay, so these kids are running around.
Yeah.
And you meant being more active with them, outside, inside?
Yeah,
Do you ever?
outside.
So when you say you want to be more active, there's got to be something. There's got to be a reason you said that.
Well, I mean, you know, I'm just tired of like, you know, taking them to the park and just kind of like, you know, hanging out and watching them. I don't want to be watching it.
I got you. So if I understand you correctly, you're going to the park because of your current health situation, because of lack of endurance and those things like that. You're just kind of petering out with it.
Yeah.
And taking a sideline and watching the kids play.
Yeah.
How does that feel, actually, Sean? I know that's a tough question, but if you don't mind me asking that question, how does that feel for you to sit on the sideline as your kids are playing in the park?
Makes me feel pretty crappy about myself.
You know, that's totally understandable. And just so you know, Sean, I do understand. And so many men and women have said the same thing to me and felt the same way. So you belong to a big group. So don't feel guilty about it, because what you're doing now is doing something about it, which is great. You're in here. You came in time. You're actually, when you told me like this time, this is different. That's why I'm here. So I pat myself on the back for doing something like that for your children and for yourself.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So don't beat yourself up over it, because we can always make the time. We can always change. We can change within an hour. And right now you have the mindset and the motivation to change. Not only that, you're actually coming here, we would put a strategy in place for it. So you should feel good. So with that being said, if I understand you correctly, this is important to you. You want to get off the blood pressure medicine.
Yeah.
High cholesterol. Looks like that you wanted to lose weight. Your goal weight is 190 pounds. Some powerful things about your wife and your kids. I think those are the most powerful things. And I think if we can keep our mind on that, that is motivation in itself to keep going.
Yeah.
That's what I feel about it. How about you?
100%.
Okay. So look, with your permission, I want to kind of go into the science part of helping you,
Okay.
if you don't mind.
Of course.
Okay, great. So look, I think a lot of people just don't know how to structureize their workout when they come in. So I really want to talk to you about what muscle is and how it affects your metabolism.
Okay.
This is a good place to...
Bam, I'm in the diagrams. But
That was awesome. Okay, and I think this is a perfect time to dive in and break this down and talk about this. So I encourage you guys to take notice when he asks certain questions. How his pitch changed? How his demeanor changed? Can someone tell me one question he asked and what you noticed about how it changed? Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, the question you touched on the kids, you know, you asked the 2 to 5, and you said, how do you feel about that? I mean, myself, I got a 15-year-old, I got to hang with it, but it's... You know,
What changed in
you
his...
could just see how you said he just, the tone of delivery and what he, you know, returned to him, you could tell that he cares about it. You know, you could feel it.
In what way? Be descriptive.
You know, just by saying it, you know, how do you feel about that? You feel, you know, you didn't really say it sucks, but, you know, it hurts inside that you're not able to get out there with your 2 or your 5-year-old and be able to keep up with them. Things like that.
How do in our pitch, in our tone of voice, and I want you to role play it with me real quick. I'm Sean right now.
Correct.
How would you ask me?
Well, I would
just
say,
like he did. No, let's really do it. Really do it.
Okay. So do you feel like you're missing out on anything, not being able to get out there with your 5-year-old, and for me, my 15-year-old?
Okay. The question was right, but I think we missed really where the emotion came in.
The tone of delivery.
Right.
right, you're
Correct.
So tempo.
On my side.
Right. So
Correct.
number 1 is tempo. Guys, when you're asking an emotional question, tempo is key. What do I mean by that?
Speed.
Jasmine.
Can I repeat?
Yeah, let's do it. I love it.
I know it's a tough question, but if you don't mind me asking, how does that make you feel?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude, I felt that. That was amazing.
And,
Did you hear her tone of voice? Did you hear her dramatic pause in the perfect way? I know this is a tough question. Yeah, please. I mean, 2 weeks into it, and she's getting it, dude. This is exactly what I'm talking about, guys. It's that dramatic pause. She is very high energy, if you know Jasmine. She's here. So to take it down, that takes skill. So she took it down a notch, and I felt her compassion towards me. Brent, I know this is a tough question. How did that feel? It's the lower the tone, the pauses. I lowered my body language. Her eyes went down up to meet mine. That is how it's done, right?
Something to add on that, because that was beautiful. One of the most important things when you're asking like really emotional questions is to really slow down and be as concise with your words as possible. So I mean, don't try to fly through it. Don't try to the question has to be exactly like, how do you feel? Or how does that make you feel? And it'll hit them like a ton of bricks every time.
And Benny went through, it was like the FA, it was a series of questions that were just questions. They were what they were. And you could tell when he was going through that process. It was easy to hear that. But then when he hit on those emotional questions, the pace was the first thing that changed. If you're gonna change one thing, guys, if you're gonna walk out of here with nothing else, I want you to start learning to change the pace at which you ask your questions. When they are more meaningful and you know you're looking for an emotional response, the pace has to go from here to here like that. That's how you're going to captivate me and make me feel like I'm ready to give you that emotional response. So tell me about this. All right. So give me 3 things that you feel I just changed completely. The whole meaning behind what I'm saying and the path I'm going down changed just because of the pace at which I asked. And you heard it every time he went in for an emotional question, the pace immediately changed, and the response from the person being interviewed, his client, immediately changed. He felt it. He knew he was having to evoke some emotions that might make him feel a little bit uncomfortable. That's the connection being made.
I really want to make sure that everybody listen to the softening questions. I said that before. You're asking very provoking personal questions. I'm always going to ask permission if you don't mind. If you don't mind me asking, I know this is a tough question for you, and you don't have to answer it. But if you don't mind me asking, I'm always giving him permission. I want his permission, because those are very provoking questions. One thing I really want to dive into, which is one of these topics, but there was a point in this interview, and I call it is an interview. We are having a conversation. It's called motivational interviewing. What did I do towards the end? Because we're talking about so many negative things, and he's like, I feel guilty. But I did something that's one of these that, what was it? And he actually smiled. Tell me about it anyway.
Don't.
You gave me my questions.
You told him not to be himself.
I think it was when you were saying
Yes,
that
no.
it's kind of never too late, for him to start doing that.
That's one of them, but Snot, go ahead. You hit the nail
To
on the
not
head.
be harsh on himself and
Say it loud so everyone hears.
to not be harsh on himself and not beat himself up.
But feel shocked, right?
Yeah, I use feel, felt, found, but what I'm doing is I want to give him affirmations because I don't want him to lose hope. I want to build him up to where hey, look, you're doing something about it. You showed up on time, and like you said when you came in, now's the time. Pat, you should be applauding yourself, actually.
I think what was huge was the fact that you're summarizing, like, after a huge question, you're like, okay, so if I'm hearing this correctly, and you go into the summarization, it makes the conversation just...
Reflective listening and summarizing.
Why is the summary part important though?
Just, you're listening to the person, you're caring, so when you're asking this huge, massive question, like...
I think it's 50% that. I think it's important that they know that you're listening to them. What's the other 50%?
That y'all are on the same page and that both of y'all, that we want to
Totally. I
And
can't argue that. I think
that it's not that he said it and they're already past that point. That it's the whole thing is around what he said. So it's the
there's
reason.
an old saying in sales that if you say it, it's important. But if they say it, it's true.
Wait.
Oh,
Who coined that
Brentley.
phrase first, Paul?
Brentley.
No, wait. Someone give me the rhyme.
If you say it, they doubt it. If they say it's true.
What's the rhyme?
questions to get them to tell you.
Here,
If I say it, they doubt it.
if they say it's true, ask them the right questions.
We learn the
It's
rhyme.
It's a concept that, and I'm sure Brent's talked about this, and there's a certain level of understanding that you want to get to, and Mike and I were talking about this earlier today, about becoming an expert at something, and there's something called being a conscious competent. It's understanding exactly why you're doing something and knowing exactly where you're going to get with it. So you want to ask yourself is, well, what are you trying to accomplish by asking all these great questions? Well, the end result is to help somebody by making a sale. And there's a lot of ways to do that, but what you guys are learning now are step-by-step ways to make it so that at the end of this experience with somebody, they've come to the conclusion, based partly on what you've said to them, but also mostly based on what they've said to you in a manner that didn't derail